Yeah, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk. Yeah, we need more wisdom, we need more love. I'm screaming peace on my people, I'm talking one love. And positive people, we need some more of. And black-owned businesses in my neighborhood really need to talk about our condition. TV and the media is painting strange pictures. If you see a black man, get your gun because these vicious cops been killing us. Why you think it's cop killers died in the line of duty and the system is his victims? And when you hit the courtroom, you already convicted. But Trayvon and Michael Brown still ain't getting no justice in the long list of names. What you saying? They deserve it. People love our culture, but it's so hard to be urban. And all these urban legends, boy, I swear they ain't the story. Power to the people and the God be the glory. I'm talking to the people when we share our testimony. Let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk.
Hey, my people, what's going on? You're tuning in with Major TV. Let's talk. You know, we deal with real engagement and conversation with the black community. We address social, political, economic, and racial ills and try to find solutions. You know, it's just not a platform we just be jaw jacking. We're really trying to get to the business as far as solutions. I want to thank everybody that's viewing. I want to say shalom, assalamu alaikum, hola, jambo, hotep, and peace and blessings to all of y'all. Thank you for tuning in. If you're looking and viewing live, you're welcome to come to chat. I have a very special guest, somebody that I've observed. I mean, in the business of media and entertainment, especially on Talktainment Radio, with his co-host at that time, Mr. Nelly Fuller Jr. The author I always speak about. United Independent Compensatory Code System and Concept. Compensatory is counter racism code. I talk about this book a lot, right? I told the brother that a lot of things that I hear about, listen Fuller talking about as well as himself, I kind of like was on current with it and I understood where he was at. But I said, let me go read the book and really just get this information, right? This brother had been, from what I learned, this brother been wanting to do radio. I mean, he have the verse, he have the personality, very humble in his walk, have a lot of wisdom. He's been mentoring me on the low. It's a pleasure again to have him on. I won't have him in the background or backstage for too long. I just want to let y'all know we got Mr. Bobby in the building. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, my brother. And you?
I'm good. Glad to see you. Finally, you know, even though we was talking behind the scenes, I want to let you know I'm glad I finally see you physically as opposed to us talking on the phone and what have you. But
yes, sir.
It's a blessing having you in, man. I really think that our people, especially in black media, need to get some further from you, but also black people need that wisdom you got. You know, the topic tonight is about using spiritual logic within white supremacy system, a system of white supremacy. I add the last part in for using logic, but using logic while we was talking within system of white supremacy. That's the title we're talking about. But we're gonna just bounce off each other and what have you. But won't you tell the people a little about yourself? You don't have to really tell the whole life stories on you. Let me
okay. Well, basically, actually, I started off in radio doing commercials at the age of 17 years old. And it just began to graduate from there. People liked the sound of my voice. Then at the local radio stations, I would do sometimes voiceovers. And then I got so good that I would do short newscasts. And then I would offer out my voice to, at that time was called the Central Ohio radio reading service where I would read stories to people who were visually impaired, and did that for a couple of years. And then I really got into sports broadcasting, and it just elevated, from there. I did that for a few years and liked it very, very much. But somebody had introduced me to Talktainment Radio.com and thought that I would be good there. And I had a sports program called Talking Sports from Mr. Bobby, and that blew and grew up. And then I was introduced to Mr. Fuller, and I think around 2009, 2010, and we've been together ever since then.
What was it like? I don't know at the time I don't know if you knew the influence he had in the movement. I don't know if you know how impressive his legacy has been, but what it was like working with him, and what did you know about him prior to you all start doing
I didn't know nothing about Mr. Fuller, but what I did know about him is that he had a strong voice, and I'm always interested in people, whether it's a male or female, who have voice. For some reason, I'm attracted to voice, and he had a strong voice. But he was doing shows, and they had different show hosts that were beside him, but none of them could stay or would stay consistent with him. So I was introduced to him and was asked, would I start doing shows with him? And I said yes. And he and I just began to click. Now, when it first started off, I didn't understand what he was talking about. I didn't have a concept. Even though we were doing shows and so forth, I didn't have a concept as to what he was talking about. But one day when he was on the air, this statement, which is just so powerful, so prophetic, he said, and he says at the beginning of the book, and every program that we do, even the one we did yesterday, he says, if you do not understand white supremacy, racism, what it is and how it works, everything else will only confuse you. And I thought about that and thought about it. And one day he was talking, and then I had an epiphany. I got it, because I realized then that I was operating in confusion in every single area of people activity. And I began to read and I began to study. I was hungry because I wanted to really understand what was going on. And I'm still learning and still discovering what is going on. And so he and I, as a team, we work together. None of what we do is rehearsed or scripted. It's all live. With our call-in show from all over the world, it's all live. And, I enjoy it. In fact, the time goes so fast. Those 2 hours that we're on, it goes so fast that it's just incredible, because we want to offer up some hope or some idea so that people can get it and wake out of what they're into and realize that they are a victim of racism. A victim. Most people don't know that they are a victim.
So it amazed me to know that you learned on the spot, right? You didn't know too much about him. The way he articulated himself and the way he I guess was conveying the message to the audience, and probably to you finally gravitated and understand what he was saying. How that feeling was like moving forward. And you answer that question. I got something else more. Two different questions though. But how that feeling once it came over you that, wow, he's talking about some stuff that I never looked at it that way.
Well, the only thing that I could really say, it's like if you're in a deep sleep and somebody wakes you up out of that deep sleep, you don't even know you were in a deep sleep. And when I got it, it was like what it was. I woke out of a deep sleep. I cleared my eyes, cleared my head, and I began to hear the message. And then not only hear it, but I began to incorporate it or live the message. See, you can't do this unless you're true. If you have an alternative agenda, whatever that may be, then it's not going to work for you. You have to be really sold out to what's going on, to helping your people and helping them to wake up. If you're not, or if you have something else in mind, this is not for you. This is serious.
I want to recommend everybody to grab the book, United Independent Compensatory Code System and Concept, Compensatory Counter-Racist Code. I advise you to read it because what's so good about this book, he defines almost everything, right? And he defines it by white and non-white. I mean, it's amazing how simple it's wrote. You look at this book, man, thinking what have you, and you really think that it's complicated. It's written so plain as far as the English, the way it's conveyed. I don't think I look at one word, you know what I'm saying? That's how good it's wrote. But what I know is about him, and this is a question for you. I'm about to put this question together because
okay,
I want to say it right. He come off as a scholar. I read so many books, and I didn't read books like this, right? But it's different, and I'm trying to put a finger on what I want to say, but the way it's written is so plain as well as technical, right? With scholarship as well as involved. And my question base is, to me, that's an underrated book among a lot of books that have been wrote by black authors, especially about the movement. And when I heard Dr. Francis say that she, in the first time I heard a black man talking about, somebody talking about racism being system institutions, blah, 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 or et cetera, as opposed to just saying people or person, right? And in his book, he's very specific in calling things what it is, right? White supremacy, racism, so forth, swarm. And my question base is this. And I know this might not be a question, it could be for him, but what I take from this book is did he intend for black people to establish something like what he's saying white? No, I can say that. I don't want to say it like that. I know he's saying he produce correctness and justice, but did he intend for black people to interpret in reference to identify with different codes and creating our own codes? Like I was hearing people say, like, we gotta create our own codes, we gotta do this and do that. I'm just trying to say, what did he intend when people read this, right? And see what's going on. When he said produce justice, I haven't really seen no specifics. I just know he's talking about the 9 factors of people activity. I'm trying to see what his intention was in reference to how he grasps this book, because I know that it's written plain, but can people comprehend it and then follow what he's saying? At least having solutions for it, because obviously what he's talking about, we know, but the way how he break it down and give it to us, he really let us know. He said one time on Talktainment that a race would call himself a Jew, he would call it a Christian, he would call himself a Muslim. He said, he's saying a white supremacy calls himself anything. The carbon title, you gotta look at, you know what I'm saying, on the parameter of a white supremacy, right? And I'm just trying to ask you about the 9 activities and how he wrote it, how he was expecting for black people to kind of interpret it and moving forward as far as trying to tear it down and produce justice.
Well, it just comes to where you as an individual are at, whatever stage of life that you are at. You have experienced in the 9 major areas of people activity that he has talked about. You have your experiences. And what he focused in on was that who was in control of these. 9 areas. And if you really think about it, if you really do the research, your own research, even within your own self, you will see it's always the same thing. It's a system that indoctrinated you into thinking that you are less than what you are. No matter where you went all over this planet, it's the same thing. A lot of it is hidden, just like in the movie The Wizard of Oz. You know, it was the wizard that was controlling the whole thing. Only Dorothy and them and the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion didn't know that until a dog pulled the cover off the man behind the curtain. Now, dog, if you think about it, a lowly animal, a dog, if you spell dog backwards, what does it spell?
God.
And see, that is what the center of it has to be. You have to attack it from that point. Find out who God is, what is God's name, and what are his attributes. And the attribute of God is truth. And when you operate in truth, then you will never lie. Because, see, a lie could never be the truth. Never. And when you start telling the truth, then it exposes that which is corrupt and wrong, like what this system that we're in now. It is totally and globally corrupt in all of those areas because the same factors are always in charge, and it is deliberate to keep you in a prison, the prison of your mind, through propaganda, through the various activities, through the distraction of race or war or black folk killing each other, Black Lives Matter, whatever it was or ever it is. These things are all designed to work together to keep things hidden from you in all those areas. You have a story to tell. And once you begin to do that, you begin to see that it's the same thing. Somebody is controlling that. Somebody wants that. They don't want you to know the truth. Why? Because if you know the truth will set you free or make you free. It really will. You can operate in that because you don't have to lie. You have to lie to anybody. But most people don't even know that they're in a prison system, the prison of your mind, which there is no escape from that. So that has to be changed. How can that be changed? The first thing you have to do is get in contact with your creator, the creator of everything, in order to set you free. But they don't want to do that. So they have all these icons of what they call God, small g, to interrupt your thinking process, to cause all different kind of what? Confusion, to get you off a track. And then some people stay off track or form different groups and all this kind of stuff. And what that does is further and further alienate you, which means that you can be dominated, which we all are, dominated by the same system. And if you get too close, they have intermediaries that will work against you. You never know who's coming at you. You never know who it is. But when you operate in truth, it doesn't matter because you already know that those things are out there and those things are possible. And if they are, you just have to deal with it.
I want to thank everybody tuning in. Thank you. Please like, share this video. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get content when I drop it. We tune in with we have a special guest, Mr. Bobby, co-host of Nelly Fuller Jr., the author of the United Independent Compensatory Code, System and Concepts. We know about the 9 factors that Nelly Fuller and that Mr. Bobby was talking about: education, economics, entertainment, law, labor, politics,
law,
sex, religion, war, and counter war. They added another, just a revised version or what have you. But it's a revised, expanded version where they put counter war. And every time Nelly Fuller speak in his book about anything, he always referred to 9 activities, people activities. And as long as they control the 9 activities, they control of everything. And his way of how I understood me reading it is those areas we gotta attack. So we gotta. That's why I'm doing some Friday, doing a live call unlearn. We gotta unlearn. We gotta unlearn what we have learned. I'm sorry, unlearn what we have learned. And I kind of was talking. I don't know. I was talking to you, Mr. Bobby, or somebody. I said that's what I'm gonna talk about next. And it's so much information that we just don't know how to process. A lot of information is not truthful. A lot of information is very partial and biased, and just the whole institution of white supremacists have taught us so much of misinformation and miseducated in a way. Whereas if we don't unlearn what we learned moving forward and really apply ourselves looking for the truth, in my opinion, we're gonna become extinct and doomed. I have a question for you too. How you feel about the movement in reference to how now black trauma is being sold to our people? I'll get few views on this video. This live with me you're doing, right? And you see thousands of views on channels that's really not even close to really hitting the hammer on the nail about what we really should be talking about. And I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just calling for what it is, right? Sometimes I go on these different platforms. I just listen to what they're talking about. I'm like, damn, what's going on? Like, how you feel about how a community, right, really sell trauma, black trauma, and for commercializing the movement? What's your take on that?
Well, again, they're doing exactly what the racist white supremacists want them to do, because it supports the system of racism, white supremacy. It supports it. What they don't want is perhaps a program like this that tells the truth, because see, the truth becomes their enemy. So they will do anything to suppress the truth, including and not limited to eliminate you, which you know through histories, they've always done that thing. So they use confusion as their major weapon to get people off track or distraction, whether it's war or anything, any type of movement that is counterproductive to white supremacy, then they don't want that. And so you're not supposed to get a whole lot of people in here liking you or listening to that. We've been indoctrinated into that. Now, you mentioned something earlier about unlearn what you've learned. No, don't unlearn it. Embrace it. Why? Because through your discoveries, through your learning, you found out that what they told you, and I'm using they like that, air quotes, was a lie. You found out the truth. Not only did you find it out, but you can reference that. Let me give you an example of reference. Just one small example. You heard, or they let in the so-called Emancipation Proclamation. Remember that? Remember that, Major?
Yes, I remember. Yes, I was not. I was like, yo.
That's all you heard about. And you grew up thinking that, because that's what they wanted you to think. And then eventually you came around and they got Juneteenth in there, and then you learned about that. Now, the whole time you was learning about Emancipation Proclamation, Juneteenth was already going on, since 1865, whatever it was. But did you know that alongside of the Emancipation Proclamation was called the the Compensation Act. I'm trying to get the word right. Oh, yeah, the Emancipated Compensation Act. Now, what that was, of D.C., what that was, Vice President Johnson, after Lincoln got assassinated, they got together and made this Compensation Act for all the white uh, people who had or plantation owners who complained that because that the slaves were released, that they were going to lose a lot of money, their wealth. So what they came up with was a compensation act that they were paid $300 per slave. Look that up. The Emancipated Compensation Act of DC. Look that up and see what happened. They got $300 per slave. They got paid. Now, you heard about the 40 acres and a mule, but what you didn't know, that there was a little caveat to that, and that was, we'll give you the 40 acres of and a mule if you leave the country. What I'm trying to say is they give you just certain pieces. They don't give you all of it. See, a little lie is still a lie. And that's what it was. It was a little lie. They omitted that on purpose. And again, look it up. See what Mr. Bobby is talking about. Don't just believe because I said it. Look it up and see that they did that kind of stuff. And when you do that, you begin to see their lies begin to unravel, because not only did they do that with that, they did that on everything because they didn't want you to know. They released over 4 million slaves into an economy that they couldn't read or write. The only thing that they could do was do what? They were sharecroppers. My people in my family, my father's side, were sharecroppers down in Georgia. That's the only thing they knew. Now, there was a freedmen's bank. Look that up. And I think it lasted for 9 years to help them out. But here you are released into this economy, and you couldn't read or write. Remember that there was a law against people learning to read and write, black people? You couldn't read or write. So church missionaries said that wasn't right. And so these churches started what we now call HBCUs. And that's how black people begin to get educated, through those HBCUs. And a lot of them were started by white Christian missionaries to teach people how to read and write and how to do different things. See, we've always been brilliant, but we didn't know that we've been brilliant because all that history was kept from us. And a good book to start with that is The Destruction of the Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. That goes way back and all that. They don't want you to know, because when you know, then you can operate from power instead of ignorance.
Mr. Bobby, how you feel about how the black community debate about who know what should be done? How you feel about that?
I feel like this: embrace it and investigate it. Find out if it's true or if it's not true, just like what I'm saying. See if what I'm saying is true or not true. That means you have to research that and then research the research, because you need to know. And then when you know, then you begin to teach your brothers and sisters that don't know, and expect to be rejected, because you are going to be rejected. You're supposed to be rejected. But there are some that will take that and go further with it. That's why you don't unlearn what you learn. You use what you have learned. This happened. You use it to your advantage. You begin to teach people. You have experience in areas that maybe I don't know, but we can use that to our advantage. In other words, you turn what is perceived as a weakness into strength. That's how you do that. You turn it into strength and use it in an honest way, because you have to be honest.
What you think about the book?
Well, I think about what?
Miseducated the Negro said just the opposite of what you said. Like, they was like, everything told in a lie. You need to re-educate yourself and so forth, so on. According to Wilson wrote that book.
No. Well, I feel like this. Again, embrace it. Yeah, the Negro was deliberately, I think it was that book, or The Miseducation of the Negro. I don't know if Woodson, wrote that. Okay. And I'm glad the brother wrote the book. I wouldn't call it a miseducation, but they deliberately didn't tell you things. They left out certain things because they were trying to influence us or direct us in a certain way for their benefit, not for your benefit, but for their benefit. What? To support the system of the global system of white supremacy, racism. And it's all over the world. It's global. It's not just here. It's global. On our call-in show, we have people that call in from all over the world. It's the same thing. It's a system. But most people, even some people that are listening to this program, don't really understand that they are not only a victim, but they are in a prison because they know where you are at. Even with the technologies that come out, they know exactly where you're at. They can come and get you anytime they want to. They can take your house. Well, what is that? By the writ of habeas corpus? Yeah, they got all these laws into place that they can do what they want to do whenever they get ready to do it. They can do that kind of stuff because that's how the system is set up. It's set up that way. It's set up to misuse, abuse, and dominate you 24/7, 365.
What about? Do you know about the campaign about self-determination? What's on declaring our? Have you heard about the movement about self-determination? Us declaring our political status as Afro descendants.
Okay. Yeah.
And human rights and all that.
How are you going to demand? What forces do you have? If you're gonna demand something from somebody?
No, it's being filed in the United Nations. It's being filed. It's paperwork.
Okay, what is that going to do? Think about that. You file that, but what power do they have when the white supremacists control the whole world? You're going to demand your captors to treat you right? They don't have to do that because they're in control of that. If anything, you have to take it. And how do you take that? By producing the justice required to do that. And how do you do that? The first thing you have to do, which most people do not want to do, the first thing you have to do is acknowledge God. He said, if you acknowledge me in all your ways, I will direct your path. People don't want to hear that. Why? Because it takes too long or it don't work. Oh, yes, it does work because he created the whole thing. But we don't want to do that. See, so because we don't want to do that, then we allow these other things to take advantage. For example, let me give you a real example. You got a piece of land somewhere and you want to throw some grass seed on it to grow. All right, because you want some grass. Okay. So you throw it out there and the next day you go out there. Do you see any movement? Do you see any grass coming up? No. See, things take time because we are in a dispensation of time and space, but most people don't want to take the time to do that. So because they don't take the time and because they don't understand how the process works, then they get discouraged and talk against that, no matter what it is in any area of people activity. It doesn't matter.
Well, this particular organization, they self-guard and they are actually making moves. So it's a positive thing from what I see, you know what I'm saying?
Who are they taking it from?
Huh?
Who are they taking it from? Or demanding it from?
I'm talking about, what I mean, taking it is, you first got it's two parts of declaring that, you this people and getting your land or what have you. Then the next part is filing in the United Nations, state your political status. We can be able to trade.
Okay. Now, what is that going to do? They filed this, and then what are they going to do? What's it going to do? What is it going to produce?
Other words, they're going to produce the trading side of everything. You can do independent business. You can have land. Or you can be a nation in the country as well as.
Do you have any evidence that this works?
Yeah, people that have self-determination already in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, you got people already. You got brother Silas Muhammad with the nation, different
parts of the
nations. Yeah, they got their own nation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's Elena Porter. She's in that. She's the one pushing it, and I'm a part of it and whatnot. A few people are a part of it. I would ask you what you know about it and what have you. But I do agree about they run everything is so full small, but there is an angle in what they're doing, though, you know.
I'm gonna put it like this, brother. And this is a true, but it's a simple statement. And I think I stated it earlier. You got to operate from truth. And truth means you got to have justice. As long as white supremacy is in full control, it is never going to happen unless white supremacy is eliminated. It's not going to happen because the two can't exist together. It can't. If one person is mistreated on this earth, then we all are. It's true. You can't have it. When the Creator created the universe, He created it in harmony, in peace. But when has there ever been a time when where there's been peace?
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just
it's okay. Yeah.
Well, you know, for me, like Nelly Fuller said it best. He said, the people who have the ability to change it, don't. And those who want to change it don't have the ability, right? So the majority who could, like I heard him say on Talktainment, and one day they can stop it. He said, but the majority don't want to do that. He said, those who want to do it, the few, they don't have the ability to. See, I feel like it started with one or a few people, and then it multiplied, right? And like you said, it's standing on truth. It's standing on justice. You know what I'm saying? You have a chance of tearing it down. But what I noticed with our people, our ego is getting away.
Yes,
we become narcissists. We become really
And you know what the definition of ego is?
Definition of ego?
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah. I'm listening.
Easing God out. See, you can't establish anything without God. Period. Some people believe in that and some don't. That's the way it is. But in order for it to be established, God has to be at the center head of it. Not only that, when you do that, then it can work. But it's not going to work in this because of the way that the white supremacy or evil really has dominated the world. It has to be completely eliminated, like your body. If you have something that's the matter with your body, in order for your body to heal, that thing has to be rid of, or the whole body is affected. It can't be just a little bit here and a little bit that. No, it's got to be the whole thing because the body benefits as a whole. We operate as a whole unit, not just that. Your finger can't say, well, I don't want to be part of it anymore. Because if the finger is cut off, guess what? It's going to die. See, we all need each other. We all need the truth and operate in the truth to completely dismantle and eliminate white supremacy racism. It has to be eliminated. You might get some gain here, but you only got that gain because they let you have that gain. You don't own no land, no property, no nothing. No, that's the way it is designed to do. Unless it is eliminated and given everybody a fair chance. They don't want that. They want to dominate that in every area. It doesn't make any difference. And if you come against that system, then they will eventually dominate you or get you through maybe your family members or somebody you know or somebody who you don't know. They might disperse anything or anybody or like a lot of people like this vaccine. There are a lot of people that are against that because they feel like this is a conspiracy. It might be. I don't know. I read a book called The Eyes of Darkness by Dean Koontz. Back in 1981, he described exactly what's going on. He described it, whole thing, out of Wutan and everything, Wutan, China and everything. Dean Koontz, they called The Eyes of Darkness. Eyes of Darkness. But, hey, nobody listen to that. They got all this stuff going on all over to do what? To confuse you. And guess what? It's working because people are confused. You have some people that don't take don't take it. Some people do. And guess what? This whole thing is going, haywire. But a man like Dr. Sebi, you remember him, don't you, Dr. Sebi? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The holistic guy. Well, he was on to something, but guess what? He ain't here no more. What happened? You know, what happened to Dr. Sebi? Holistic. He was coming against the system. Some people say he was eliminated because he was telling the truth.
I mean, unfortunately, for people that come in truth, particularly melanated people, something always happens to them.
Or and that's by design.
Yeah,
that's by design. Because see, people don't want you or us to know the truth. Because when you know the truth makes you free. You become powerful in truth.
Well, Mr. Bob, he was successful because the people not behind him. Dr. Sebi see how he went to the Nation of Islam. He was a different people, and he was saying how a lot of them didn't want to hear it. And
that's right.
I'm saying to say this here, because we talking to the people now. I'm not a pessimist. I'm an optimist.
Yes.
So you know, racism keep coming, but I'm the one who do believe in the Most High. I believe in God. So when I'm a positive person. I hear all that. I'm hearing you, but in the back of my mind, we gotta have solutions. But my point is this: when I look at use an example of Sebi, right? How Sebi openly spoke about the nation, everybody he went through that had names that was very known. They said they won't hear it, right?
Right.
And I said to say this here: white supremacy and eliminating people that have a message, people that's come with the truth, is because the people don't be behind that person, and it's not the next. It's no one that's really stepping up and really hammering the same thing. They'll divert or water it down and be talking completely different the way how he was talking, or just not in a manner whereas he's really trying to speak out about what's going on. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here, look, people agree and they don't agree, and that's okay. That's what they're supposed to do. But what I'm telling you and the people that are listening is simply this: without God, no matter what you do, no matter how long you dialogue, if God is not involved, then it's not going to work. Look what he said when he was spoke in the book of Matthew, in particular, chapter 6, verse 33. He said, "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and these things shall be added to you." Now, somebody said, what things? The things that you need. Those things. Seek him first. And then these things, whatever you need, shall be added to you. If you needed wisdom, how to do whatever it is that you need to do, seek him first. See, without him, which is what the world has tried to do, look at the chaos that is all around us in every single area. Every single area. Because why? We didn't seek him first. So, what things? Everything that you need, God has it. Why? Because he made everything. Every single thing. He said he did. So why not seek him? But we don't want to do that. No, we want it now. And it's not going to happen like that. Seek him first. How do you do that? Individually. You seek him. I seek him. And God gives us that wisdom. Yahweh gives us that wisdom to understand what we need to do and why we need to do it, and the righteous purpose that we have in doing it. That's why I say you can't be selfish in this. You have to be completely sold out to that and to stay on it and expect to be things to come against you, because they are supposed to. Because the adversary doesn't want you to know what is true. He wants to keep us in that state, that state of prison. And the worst prison is the prison in your mind. The worst thing, or keep us divided.
Moving forward.
Okay.
Let me get to some nitty gritty right now, because our people lack financial literacy, right?
Do what now?
Our people lack financial literacy.
Yes.
We don't know how to handle money.
Yes.
We still the slave mentality of wanting what the slave master had.
Yep.
We make the slave post-traumatic slave syndrome, whereas we want we didn't have, and we don't think about, what I'm saying, tomorrow, the future, and what have you. We live in the moment with how we buy certain cars that definitely gonna hurt us in reference to making them notes. We buy a home, definitely that bigger home. We buy clothes and jewelry, and a lot of that stuff be like the Gucci's and Louis Vuitton. Somehow people, and it jaws. We really live a lavish life, and we are the poor to the poor, right? But they complain about racism and discrimination, what have you, when you know it exists, right? That one thing I know we're gonna have to address along with a host of. I mean, it's so much. It's like when people be talking about, man, we gotta support black business. We gotta get the dollar circulating 9, 10, 12 times it was doing back in the day. That's a myth telling people to do that. You know why? They had everything back then: hospital, banks, everything. They don't have that now. We oversaturated in barbershops, clubs, or whatever. We're not even providing the nail shops, the grocery stores, the clothing stores, and so forth. So on. There is so much, and I love it for the leaders. I fought leadership throughout the years because they keep the people divided because they don't want to sit down, have some kind of government or a council or something to actually address the social and political needs, economic needs, political, social, economic needs of the people. It's so much of building within, but never trying to build without. I mean, outside what you already have to show the people something. So for me, it's like once you teach them about the Most High, teach them about God, there is so many other areas they lacking in. So many areas that we're not even teaching, right? You have the church talking God, 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 always in the sky, never coming down to earth and seeing what's really going on. Don't talk about white supremacy. Don't address the social, political, economical ills in our community. Why is there? Here you had white people ran black people out the rural areas and brought them in the city. Now they got it concentrated where they got the mountains, they got the country, they got all the land and stuff. And then send the police in. They took the jobs too, right? The white flight. They took the job and this son, white people, white police, police to terrorize the black community. Put drugs, put guns in the community, right? Took jobs, wages not fair. I can name a list of BS. You know what I'm saying? Whenever government handle our money or assistance, we're the last to see anything. We know about the redlining. We know about the predatory lending with the banks. We know about discrimination, what have you. But our people need information on top of talking about the Most High. They need to be taught. They need opportunity around. We need to put money in the community. And it's just not being done. It has handicapped us so much to the point where we don't know what to do. Even those who know better don't know what to do. Because we got caught up in this vanity type thing, ego type thing, and then a lot of us be saying, "Oh, the black community gonna never come together." We this and we that. It's always some pessimistic talk. See, I want to believe black people know God. I want to believe that. All my life, that's all I've been hearing. That's all I've been hearing. But the people I know that have been talking about God, they be some of the worst people. The people that be talking about, they be the worst people. Somebody get along with a criminal, get along better than people that talk about they believe in God, because the way how they practice, the way how they judge, the way how they think, and then how divided they be, because they think it's one way about things and not look at the problem before them. So for me, I'm like, we have to address what's going on in our communities. Because a lot of things we talk, we be like, oh, we gotta buy black, we gotta do that. But we don't even look at the big picture of a lot of things gonna be able to work. Because you know why? We don't own nothing. We don't. It's like China gave us game, Japan gave us game, Germany gave us game, the Jews gave us game, Each one of them waged Cold Wars in their own way. We know what Japan did with technology. We know what China did with manufacturing technology. We know what Germany did in industrial and basically just they like the capitalists are one of the most successful countries out there right now. You know what's going to do with the banks in Hollywood. We had the music, so it was never all these people talking about. They behind the scenes putting that together. We still fighting. We even fighting over who to worship. We fighting over religions. We fighting over everything but the right thing. And that's attacking white supremacy. And I hate to say it, when I hear people talking about the word, they almost teach it like the slave master. They literally give it to people like the slave master. And I don't understand how we cannot break away from how they taught us, how they treat us, and what have you. And some of us treat our own people like the slave master. And I don't understand it. I mean, you have all these books where you black psychologists. We have all these books about black historians that devote their life to it. That these white folks made sure we never hear about. But we gotta go deep. It wasn't for social media, our people be way lost in what they are now. Thanks to social media, they can go on YouTube, they don't even have to read it, but they can hear it. But when we talk, our people do perish because of lack of knowledge. They perish because of lack of knowledge. They have been given God, and the misuse of even dealing with God is because they don't even know no better. Like I told you, I'm gonna take the Bible out your hand, Quran, Torah, everything. Put all these books on the side. How the original man, woman, child, family, how they made sense of things? Through the spiritual logic. Spiritual logic. A lot of us don't even use our brain. A lot of us don't even think of spiritually. We don't even really connect the two. We don't even make sense of what's going on around us. That's why I hear people be talking about God. You talking about God. White supremacy mean nothing. We should be able to tear that down. But we serving God in a different way. We seeing life in a different way. Why? And that's my whole issue. It's like I'm against us debate. I first sit down. If me and you disagree, we can agree, we disagree. But in the end, we share a common problem, a common enemy. Let's solve it. And let's solve it now. That's the mindset I got. And to me, going back to the original topic, using logic within system of white supremacy, how you lose logic when you've been brainwashed? You've been brainwashed of all the original stuff that came out of Africa has been watered. What it got to do is watered down. Some people, they cut off history because of religion, beliefs. They cut off history, and it's deep. We didn't let certain parts of our history be demonized, and we never talk about it because we believe in something. And what's so bad is we in a day and age whereas there are so many churches on every corner. When them saying it was the poorest communities. We withdraw, never deposit. That's what make the Black Power movement, the pro-Black movement, so weak. They're the poorest of the communities because why? They have never even looked at what they're dealing with the fake currency and the credit system. But still, you got black people that's millionaires, that's booming out here, that took the time and understood what's going on, what have you, and doing their part. We don't even know they're doing their part because they're not verbalizing like some people do. So for me, I feel like our people need to be taught. Our people, we have the money so freaking bad. We have the money so bad, and the funny part, we let foreigners come in our neighborhood. There are stores we pass by every day, abandoned stores that's one day turned to an Arab Asian store. We don't come together like, I'm opening nail. Let's put a nail shop here. You got people, black people got money in them black neighborhoods. We'll look over the black neighborhood, they'll go in other neighborhoods, or go downtown, put up businesses, and let our black people spend their money other people. But we complain. It's sad that financial literacy is not pushed. Because I'm as for the history part, I feel like we so far gone with teaching that. We so far behind. I remember one time we had like the programs we did in the community, whatever. We don't do that no more. We don't even want to just get a room and just put people in there and teach them. Thanks to COVID-19, I can do virtual stuff. We wasn't on virtual like that, but now we do virtual because we don't need to have the physical building no more. But it's a real problem in our community that we not really understand what's going on. We could never be white supremacy as long as we operating the way we operating. That's why I want this platform to be positive. And that's why I try to bring people together. But I believe in God. I'm only one person though. And I didn't travel, spend my own money, sit down, talk with people, try to figure things out. And our people are some messed up people. And I still endure. But my thing is, I feel like this. We have to all be like a Malcolm X. We gotta either go to street corners, we gotta go play, we gotta really preach it. We gotta really bring truth to people. I feel like we should be like Joe Witness knocking on doors. I got a sister here right now. So we should have brochures going door to door, offering people to come to our virtual class so we can teach them what have you. But I didn't mean to just go. I didn't mean to go as deep about how I felt. I just feel like if black people don't know God by now, shame on them. Because God was beating them. But he was beating them in a slave master way. If black people don't know about what's going on around, which we know a lot of them don't. And those who do just don't know, don't care, don't know what to do. And those who do know what to do, they don't have a means of what have you. I just feel right now, we have to come together. We have to have a real conversation like we're having right now. And then we got to go do something. Because I tell people I'm tired of just being on the screen. It's like I got my hands in a lot of stuff behind the scenes, right? But our people would never get healed. They would never get help if we don't reach out to them. White people can manipulate so fast. You know why? They wouldn't go in the neighborhood, get food and money. Why? Keep us brainwashed. That's all they do. No more than doing Africa when they go over to evangelists and all that stuff down, all the spying they're doing. So for me, I just feel like we have to teach our people. And like self-determination, right? I only person I heard about something like that, I ain't gonna lie to you. It hurts me later, but when Malcolm X was talking about going to the United Nations when I was reading about it, right? And you talking about human rights so forsworn, but through Miscellaneous, she's in it right now. She's pushing her platform for self-determination. And though we know whites control everything, what she's trying to do is put them on court at the same time. We still doing our thing. Like for every concern, we're supposed to be building our communities now. But she's trying to put we have a political status of an African descendant, and we can be able to trade with countries and so forth, so on. Though it might appear to be complicated, literally, but it really isn't. Because everything's still dealing with law, you know what I'm saying? Even if, we get our political status, we know we still want to deal with the white supremacy, whatever. It's just lining your ducks up, what have you. Now, for me, I'm for black empowerment, black media, self-determination. I'm for a number of things. I'm self-empowerment. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about financial literacy. I'm talking about for building our community, infrastructure-wise, as well as real estate and all that, as well as businesses and so forth. So it go along with me, right? I mean, it's Sister Connected, Atlanta Porter. We on the same page and working together, and we about to do the door-to-door thing. We about to do it. It's like Grandmaster Jay said one time. He said, all the people that talk about me and Grandmaster Jay, NFAC, he said, you're the only one came to a formation and seen. And I have a hashtag created, right? I've been riding the hashtag for a while. Hashtag turn words into action. We talk too much. We want to talk, but nobody willing to really go all the way like Malcolm did, like King did, like Marcus Garvey did. We got to make the great Martin Delaney happy of us. We got to make Ida B. Wells happy of us. Some people risk their life exposing lynching and racism and we know about that, right? But for me, I just feel like we have to be realistic about this. I dropped the morning vibration. Y'all probably didn't catch it, but I dropped a morning vibration today. Let me see if I can find it, and I want to Just share what I had said. Just share a little something. Let's go here. I want to go here. I want to play this. Well, I ain't want to do that just yet. I ain't want to do this yet. I ain't want to do that. I ain't want to do that. Hold on 1 second. I'm about to do something, y'all. I want to share something with y'all. This is what I did to just stuff in my spirit. When the Most High put something in my spirit, I just shared, All right, this is what I did, right? Let's get it. Good day, beautiful black people. This is your positive vibration of the day. Teamwork. To build a community, we have to work together. We have to discuss and address issues that affect our community. Then we come up with solutions to implement. Though we may not agree on everything, we do agree that something has to be done now. Prioritize the most important to the least important. Be realistic when looking at the situation and assessing it. Create action plans and follow up on it. We all we got. If we truly want liberation, it will take community effort. There is no I in we. Swahili word for day is Kuziya Pamoja, means teamwork. I shared it for a reason, right? My point of saying it is like, this is what we supposed to be at in our life. This is what we supposed to be in our life as a people, right? It's like, all right, once you understand God, what's next? Once you understand, because prayer without works means nothing. Nothing. I never forget the story they were saying about the man in the water. Somebody tried to get him out in the boat. Somebody tried to swim out there and get him. Somebody come in the plane and try to throw a rope to him. He said he was waiting for Yahshua, Jesus, or what have you, right? And when he was seeing the Most High, like Most High, what he forsaken me, he said, I was the man that was in the boat. I was the man that threw the rope to you. I was the man that came in the boat trying to snatch you out there, the person that was there swimming. And too many times we be waiting, and we miss the boat. And that scripture's talking about that, right? And see, like I told somebody the other day, the Bible don't teach you about financial literacy. It don't teach you how to start successful business. It don't teach you about real estate. Yeah, have guidelines. Yeah, it's a guide. It's a lot of spiritual knowledge. It's the Most High talking to them, inspired through other people. There's a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of things literally going on. There's some things you got to decode. There's some actual things that happen. We already know that the true people are really not even acknowledging that way. That we have to basically, fill in the blank or whatever, decode certain things. But I just feel like we have to be willing to do more. We have to. I don't see it no kind of other way. Because for concern, a black person will go at you first and have nothing else to say afterwards, right? And once you go to engaging with them and seeing what they know, they be knowing very little. There's nothing wrong with devoting your life to the Most High, but it's stages. It's spiritual, the foundation. We're going to build a house. We're going to build a house, right? Spiritual, mental, other side of the house, physical, emotional, family, financial. We're going to build a house, right? It's just different things. It's evolving. Like they say, too much anything can drive you crazy. It can have you out of balance, right? So for me, I'm like, when you say we're not in balance, that's a part of that. Could you be too much of anything? You can miss the boat with other things. Like have health issues, have a mental breakdown, be emotionally unstable. We have to be able to balance all that out. And I talk about this a lot on my channel and so forth, sworn. But I just had to just say to the brother, because people said a lot to me, right? When I gauge their mind, they got bad credit. They're not invested in nothing or very little. Like most blacks, scared of this, scared of that, because all the brainwashing on our community. Don't know how to handle money. They typical in a thinking. Why? White supremacy. We've been dumbing down. You got the motherland itself been dumbing down. Whereas, as bad as we are, it's just worse. That's so worse. And it wasn't enslaved like we were. It was colonized. Some of them probably was enslaved, but most of us over here, it's a lot. I don't say most, but a lot of us been enslaved. So for me, it's like, what answer for that? I can tell you books about personal finance for dummies for Eric Tyson. I can tell you Eric Tyson, all his books. I can tell you about this brother named William King, I believe. Credit for King, King is Credit. William Roundtree, King is Credit. I can refer books. I can speak about Rob Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I can tell people about that. I can tell them about this book I'm reading right here. You know what I'm saying? I can tell them about a black man wrote this book right here. Peter Harris, a co-author, Peter Harris. Tell you about this. Commercial real estate for dummies. We don't do enough for this. We don't. See, like when I wake up, I write my own prayers or whatever. You know, I'm over the spiritualism than anything else. You know what I'm saying? I glide the Most High in my own way, in my own melanated way, right? And after I do my reading, I go into my studies and what have you. I'm feeding myself spiritually, mentally, physically. You know, I'm working out, watching my diet, which I struggle with that sometimes. Emotionally, I try to keep healthy communication with brothers like you or sisters, what have you. Nothing negative, you know, all positive. Trying to keep that balance, because once you're at that balance, it's like you're almost in that perfect world, you know, of not dealing with negativity or trauma or what have you, or knowing how to balance it out when it comes your way. But for me, our people need to grow. Like, again, I respect Devin George, who played for the Lakers, that Kwame Brown brought out. This brother is building a community. Like areas in community, he's really invested. He's, you know, him talking about white people, talking about none of that. He's just doing his thing. I aspire to do that because he's a doer. He's not a person that's just talking. That's like why when I tell people hashtag turn with action, I'm telling people, watch what I start doing. Watch when I start just revealing things, because our people don't understand talking no more. They don't understand the fact that when I say what I'm saying right now, and tomorrow I do something different. That's why our kids in our community criticize us so much, because we don't practice what we preach. We don't live a lifestyle that is of truth. We don't live a lifestyle of being responsible. Like I tell everybody, it's personality and character first. When somebody meets you, you should always want to sell yourself to them in a respectful and responsible way. Not using all kind of profanity, N-word, getting all loose, or just dressing up any kind of way. I feel like first impression, the best impression, especially you're trying to get a message over to people. So for me, my question to you is, in a question, you just comment on what I just said about the fact that I hear this all the time about the Most High and God and what have you. Somebody told me, oh man, I'm going to tell you about the book, the Uda Woo and what have you. All right, cool, like, but I'm watching you, you're not teaching the people what they really, really need to know. They don't know how to handle money. You know what I'm saying? They'll donate to you, but they don't know how to handle money. People be talking about start a business. You know how hard to start a business? I got 2 businesses. It's hard. Kicking me in the butt. I'm making money, but it's kicking my butt in the butt. You gotta make sure everybody paid. You gotta make sure the accountant, different things going on around you. You know what I'm saying? Employees and all that. Got no different laws and what have you. But my whole point is, we say that we don't realize how hard it is. And then be like, oh man, work for a white man. Or you get your own business. That's easy saying. Or you teach them how to start a business. Or you showing them the ebbs and flow of the business. Invest in stock market. Are you teaching them about stock market? Do they know anything about that? We say things freely without thinking about it. That's why it hurt me every time they say, oh man, we need the dollar to circulate, blah, blah, blah. We don't have them kind of businesses for to circulate 13, 14, 15 times like in Black Wall Street days. Our people need to be taught the truth, and we also need to show them by investing in the community. And I know it's a task, because you know why? A lot of economics are my, how I'm investing in the poor community, I might not make money or what have you. And there's so many ways around that. But if we don't sit down, not argue, debate, and do a real list, like I did in the part, not real list. I'm talking about it could be 50 things, and prioritize what needs to be done. And something ain't can be done it can be done simultaneously. We're gonna be in the position we are in. And right now, we have a mountain of people that just talk, get on YouTube and social media, monetize to talk about trauma. As soon as a brother in the movement, they get exposed for being fake, we attack them because it's part of clickbait. And they attack them they're not talking about them just to show, well, you shouldn't be like this here, but also try to build them up and then acknowledge what we need to do as a people. It's a tearing down process. And right now, my heart is full because I know time is ticking for you and I and all of us. Those brothers who talk to you and I, we're going to be gone. Now our kids got to deal with the same stuff that we was dealing with. Because we dealing with the same stuff they were dealing with back in the day. 60 years ago, dealing with the same stuff on different levels. And same way they killing us now, they was doing back then. The same thing we talking about now, they was doing back then. And I watched for years as a truck driver, watching this platform, that platform grow. And they say what all needs to be done, but never demonstrated. That's why Major TV, which is for the people, will be demonstrated. See, I don't value money, even though the Most High didn't bless me. I've been through a lot in my life, doing pretty good. It don't mean nothing to me. And if it's success means nothing to me, if it's not culminated with collective success. Because when I go on a vacation, I do whatever, enjoy myself, whatever. I have to go back into my world, a black world, a melanated world, a world discriminated against, and watch my people suffer. I drive trucks through country towns. You see the white areas, beautiful, nice. So when you get in the black area, it look like typical. I mean, the roaring cities the same way. Black people walk around wandering, they don't know what they're doing, hanging around grocery stores. Look like homes about to fall on, what have you. And you got black people like myself, a lot of us know better. But I don't think we're doing enough, in my opinion. You know, I feel like everybody got to play their role. Everybody meant to be front and center. Everybody don't have the wherewithal or what have you, do certain things. But I started doing this largely because I know I've been watching this person, that person talk. I even watch people do little things in the community with half-assing at it. Look, give a little to get a lot. Give a little to get a lot. This should never be about you. It should be about the people. I can make money without even hustling. I never ask for donations. People donate, they on their own. I don't ask for that. Because our people have donated too much of money, and we have produced zero with our people on a large scale. Because what we have gotten, they found a way to take it back and take some more stuff with it. This is real we going through. And too many times, we take it for granted, and we get on some paid levels fussing about this and fussing about that. Our people are dying, and not just no streets. They're dying spiritually. They're dying morally. They're dying emotionally. They're dying mentally. Mental health is so horrible in our community. It's sad. And I'm doing that person with my own son. My baby boy, you know what I'm saying, had a breakdown. And I don't even want to talk about Benny, but it's serious. Like, he coming around, but it's serious. As a black man, I had to stop everything I'm doing to get my son life. Why I'm doing all this stuff here? Because I have that deal in my own life. But my whole point is, we have to do something. We have to do something. It's sad that we have all these great minds in the community that don't want to come together and say all these great minds in our community that don't want to teach. And those who are doing it, because they got those out here doing their thing, you don't even hear about them. Unless my channel or Kwame or somebody talk about them and bring them up on their channel, what have you. You got the King Randall that's down there in Georgia doing the thing with the young kids, ex-boys, you know what I'm saying? I make my business donated every month. Because if we all we got. If we don't try to make a difference in our community, who will? So, with that being said, I just had a moment, right? I had a moment I want to talk, what have you. But tell me how you feel.
I feel like I said before. You demonstrated brought up a lot of issues, but it all centers around one thing, and that is you have to seek God first And he said, if you do that, he will add to you the things that you need, every single thing. When you talk about financial literacy and all that kind of stuff, guess what? The best financial literacy is in the Bible. He said, owe no man anything except the debt of love. Okay, so you don't understand that. Ask him, how do I do that? Don't be in debt. Teach me, Father, how not to be in debt. And he gives you many examples of how not to be in debt. And not only that, but he says, as I give it to you, don't forget to train up your child. Teach your child these things. For example, in every area, teach them how to do these things with the nurture and admonition of the Lord. For example, to possess the land. Land is like a land. He told Joshua and Caleb to go into the land of Canaan and possess it. He told the 12 sons of Israel to do that. 10 of them came back and said, we can't do that. But Joshua and Caleb said, yes, we can, and brought back evidence, as you said, proof, evidence that giants lived over there and that they could take the land. What I'm saying is, metaphorically, your house is land. If you are in debt, you can use your house as leverage to do what? Pay off all your debts that you owe so that you don't owe no man anything. But we're not trained to do that. So then we are trained to be debtors. Or as the Muslims would say, I think I heard Brother Farrakhan say, you are a consumer instead of being a producer. And see, and as long as you are a consumer, you'll never have ownership of anything. You have to learn that. What better way to learn that to ask God that? He said, this is what God said, if you lack wisdom, he said, ask me. I will give it to you how to deal with that, how to address financial literacy, how to set up the inheritance for your children. He said a good man not only provides for his children, but his children's children. You said you drive trucks, okay? Learn how to do that, setting up businesses. He will show you how to do that kind of stuff, but we don't want to do that. So we get into all these things and we have just hot air, as Nelly Fuller said, in one of his documentaries, said, all we doing is just talking, a lot of hot air. He said, you need results and you need constructive results. How do you get constructive results? You first have to go to God, through God. If you don't, or Yahweh, if you don't do that, no matter what you do, you can talk to you blue in the face. It's not going to do any good. You mentioned hospitals. Yes, we need our own hospitals. Food co-op. We don't know what they put in the food. Black banks. What happened to the Freedman Bank that we used to have? And schools to teach our own how to do. We need those things. We can do those things. Not just talk about. We can do those things instead of just having hot air. Because that's all people talk about, hot air. You are correct. The same thing that they talked about when I was a kid, they doing now. Why? Because the white supremacists don't have to do anything. They already know that nothing is going to happen because they control that. But if you seek God and ask God how to get over that, what do we do, Lord? Teach me, Lord, how to do that, how to deal with that, then we can. But like you said, ain't nobody listening. Don't nobody want to do that. You got rebels and all that kind of stuff. Plus, the white supremacists are smart in this area. They play, remember that old saying, there's two sides of every story? Well, see, they play all sides. They play all sides. They'll have somebody that's for you and against it. They infiltrate that to find out what's going on. This is what I like about the Japanese people. The Japanese people do what? They study tactics. Their enemy. They study it so they'll know the different moves that are being made. See, we don't. But in order to wrap this whole thing up in a nutshell, we got to first go through God. And then God will teach you in that word, and I'm a living witness of that word, how to become and live debt-free. We can do that. We can do that. I saw how they do that, what they do to entrap us. And then when you get entrapped, guess what? They can dominate you, like raising the rent on you and all that kind of stuff. But not when you own your own. No, it don't happen like that. So that's the key to it right there. All that talk that you just did, that's good, but you got to go through God first, because you can talk to you in the face, but it don't do no good if you're not going to do anything about it. And that's how you do something about it. Go through God first.
I agree with you. I told you like that the foundation. My life consists of a couple of things. God being my foundation and me just being positive, right? I feel like karma is real. I feel like when you are positive will come back your way. Not saying that when there's good, evil, and present, right? I'm just saying that when you're doing positive things, karma should come back at you in one way or another, right? Just like if you do something bad. But this is what I have to address you about this, and I have to be real with you. I don't agree with half the things you said, right? And I'm not trying to make it.
You're not supposed to. It's okay.
Because I'm a credit person. I teach credit.
Yeah.
And I've been superb with it. Superb. You know what I'm saying? And all this come out of Africa. It always come out of Africa, right? Everything, the credit, the border, all that come from Africa. They got it, right? The problem is when they advertise credit, because of these commercials and what have you, all these ads and whatnot, and how they got us brainwashing that we don't know how to manage it, right? Nobody can buy a house unless you got cash. Nowadays, you gotta get on credit. You will never own a house unless you inherit it or you got money.
See, Major, here's the thing. Here's the thing about credit that you have to really understand. It's not bad to have credit, but what's bad about it is that he told us to have dominion over the things of the earth. Credit is a thing. So what we have to do, you can have credit, but don't let credit have you. Dominate. Don't let credit. Okay, don't let credit.
Everything though.
Wait a minute. Don't let credit dominate you. Okay, how do you not let credit dominate you? Okay, so you want this car. Okay, you see this car. This car costs a whole lot of money, whatever it is. Okay, so you put something on that car, to get that car because you need that car. Okay, if you can afford to do that for 30 days or 2 months without them charging you interest, or if they do, if you can afford that little interest, then do that. But don't allow yourself to be dominated by credit, because credit, if you don't use it, will use you, and then you become a slave to credit, like we all are. Or like the Muslim brothers said, you become a consumer instead of a producer. And when you do that, then they tell you what to do, because they have control over you. God said he don't want that for you to happen. He said, dominate that. He told the first man that. I don't really know if his name was Adam, but he told Adam to have dominion over the things of the earth. He told him that. Don't let the things have dominion over you. So we work 2 jobs because we want that car. So that's dominating. That's taken away from the family and all that but we don't see it. We want that car so you can go, ooh-wee. What is ooh-wee? That don't mean nothing. Dominate that so you can take care of your family and teach your children the credit ways so that they don't get in that same pattern. You are correct. We don't teach those kids those things. And guess what? They follow right up with it. For example, you mentioned church. Okay, the first thing that comes to your mind is the brainwashing, church. You think of that building. Well, guess what? That's not the church. And I can prove that to you. 1 Corinthians 6:19, he says, know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost and that the Spirit of God dwells within you. You are the church. That building is just for the assembling of the believers of like precious faith. We should assemble yourselves together, but you are the church. See, we've been brainwashed into so many different areas.
I know that. I'm talking to you. I'm talking about, listen, but you're telling me, I'm talking about churches in our community that's not doing nothing for our community. I'm talking about people we know, but I'm talking about the people in our community that is just straight, address that. You address me like, I don't know. You don't know what I know versus what you know. I'm just saying.
I'm not addressing you, Major. No, we're having dialogue, and for everybody that's listening, to us. So when I'm saying you, I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm just talking about in general, those of us, those that might be listening, or those that have tuned into this program, what has happened to us. I'm not talking about you personally. I know you
wasn't. I know you wasn't. I was just saying that I specifically was talking about the church, but I get what you were saying when you was going there with it, though.
Yeah, but see, so my thing is that we got to focus in on going to the Father and asking the Father to help us and to teach us the ways. He said, if you ask me, I will give you that knowledge, and I won't hold back from you. I will give it to you. That's what he said. And the reason why that's true, because the scripture tells you that God, Yahweh, is not a man that he should lie. The reference is Numbers 23:19. He said, I will not lie to you. And when you embrace that, you say, okay, Father, I need you to help me here. You said you wouldn't lie to me, Father. So how do I get out of this? Show me what to do. Tell me what to do. So put me in contact with the right people so I know what to do. I just went through that. Just finished paying off a few things by asking him. You show me how to do that, Father. And then, like I told you the other day, and I had been asking him for that, and a way came up, and I was able to do it using the leverage that I have here. And that brought about this scripture here, Isaiah 60:22, the last line. When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen for you. I'm looking at a bill that I had here, and I'm talking about 5 figures, gone, completely gone, wiped out, paid in full. A couple of them like that. 4 this month. I mean, August. 40. I sat back and I said, look at him. Look at how he did that with what I already had, because I asked him to show me and to teach me how to do this, so that I could be debt free. And not only that, but teach others how to do that. The problem is that people really don't want to listen. And then they want it to happen, like the example I was getting about the grass. They want it to happen overnight. I asked him for that and let him do that. He controls time. I just had to be patiently and wait for him to do it. And when I took that check in there and gave it to them people, they didn't know what to do. How did you do that? I said, you got time for me to really tell you? But here it is, right here, paid in full. I just said, look at God. It wasn't me. It was God. He did that. Not me. He did that. I did that 4 times last week. 4 times. 4 times. He did that because because in my heart, my mind, my heart, I want to be debt free. And so I'm asking him to show me. I get information from you or wherever God directs me to get that information, and then I use it. And not only do I use it, I share it with other people who want to go. Who really, I say, if you really want to be out of debt, you can. And this is how. It just, it requires a person to follow what God say do. And I have 4 prayers that I say every single morning to help me stay focused in on what I'm supposed to do. And that's what I try to help and teach others, what to do. Many are not going to accept it, and that's okay. They're not supposed to, because like you said, it's an action thing. Like when you tell somebody you love them, you could say that with your lips, but love is an action word. You got to show them that. And I got proof of the stuff I just told you. I got proof sitting right here, right beside me to my left. Proof of exactly what I'm talking about. That's what God can do. And then he said he can do more, exceedingly and abundantly above all that you could ask or think. So that means that I'm operating in the more, because there's more there. And then one of my reason why I'm with Fuller is because it gives me a platform to be able to help others when I can. Most of them aren't going to listen, but for the ones that do listen, I got something for you. And it's not me. Like when you said that I'm not your mentor. I'm just a brother like you. I'm full of mistakes. I'm still learning. I appreciate the compliment, but I'm learning from God what to do and how to share this with my likes, dislikes, and I make many mistakes. And I tell the people on the air, forgive me of the mistakes that I made on the air today, but I'm still learning. I'm learning how to do this thing. I'm learning how to do what I'm supposed to do, to live, to, as you said, you met so many people that they talk it, but they don't live it. Basically, that's what you said. And you're right. They talk a good game, but then when the camera's off, yeah. And see, that makes the whole thing false. That's why I said, when you do this thing, you can't be in it except for the right reason. Because if you're in it for the wrong reason, you will be exposed. That unrighteousness will be exposed. So what did Nelly Fuller, what I learned from him, and I told him that the other day, is to tell the truth. Just tell the truth. That's why when you ask me about what we want to talk about, what I say, let it be unrehearsed. That way, what comes out is raw and natural. It's not rehearsed. And it's beautiful. That don't mean that we're going to have to always agree on everything, but we talking. We having a dialogue. We talking. See?
Good.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go back to the topic, right? Because we veered and what have you, a lot of energy out there. But let's talk about using logic in the system's white supremacy. How the best way? I know you're gonna probably come from the spiritual aspect of it, but the best way of using logic, in reference to understanding the system we're in.
Okay.
And all right.
What you have to do is whatever is presented before you, there's going to be two questions. Is it true or is it not true? That's the only two questions. If whatever somebody is telling you, including me, is it true or if it's not true? If it's not true, then you don't work with it. If it's true, then you expound on it. That's using logic instead of using foolishness. Logic requires you to investigate everything because everything needs to be investigated. And if something happens that's not what you consider good, instead of getting mad or upset, embrace it because that's the way it's supposed to be. Why? Because like I told you earlier before we got on the air, it sharpens you. In other words, how do I need to get better? How do I need to get? What do you do when you reach the very top to get? What did it take for you to get there? Okay, then what is it going to get for you to stay there? You got to get better. You got to get better and better and better. You don't stop. You don't stop. Like some of the stuff you said now. See, it's registering in my mind, and at a certain point, guess what? Because you dropped the seed in there, then that seed will germinate if it's right. That seed will germinate, and I can use that not for myself necessarily, but to help somebody else. See, like where you're at now with this, a lot of people can't do what you did to start their own little TV thing. They don't know how to do that. Well, I want to do this, I want to do that. Anybody come to you and that? Well, man, how you do that? See, you sitting on a wealth of knowledge right there that you could help somebody. And maybe they have a conversation that could help somebody else. See, that's how we begin, if you will, to network this stuff. Because now, look how easy it is to get on there. Look how easy it is. And then to share whatever it is that you have to share so that other people can get that and then do something with that. Then we start becoming producers instead of consumers, like Tyler Perry. He saw what was happening out in Hollywood. A lot of people don't like him. So guess what he did? He, instead of getting mad at it and throwing up his hands, I understand he bought a base, an air base or something down in Georgia. And now look what he's got. And look what he's producing. Some people don't like his programming and all that kind of stuff. Okay, they don't have to. But look what he's producing and look how he's employing a lot of people in a lot of different areas, instead of them going to Hollywood, selling their bodies and all that kind of stuff to that system. And a lot of people don't like it. But you got to embrace what he's done because now they got all these platforms now. You can see all those shows, like Miss Pat, for example, and a couple of shows I saw yesterday that he's producing. A lot of people don't like that. But guess what? You're not getting that old programming that you and I used to get all the time. That was good. You embrace it. But see, the more came. And now you got these little things. Or like what Spike Lee has done, for example. And maybe there are others out there that do things to get us involved in the conversation. Like when he wrote When the Levees Broke and all that kind of stuff, got the stuff under the stuff down there in Nolens and exposed what was happening. What, that the levees broke, but how did they broke? And why was Nolens spared? That Katrina went east of it, but that's not what we were told and so forth. See, and they proved it even with engineers, structural engineers, or people who are good at putting that kind of stuff together, told the truth as to what's going on, as opposed to what the national narrative is or was. And they still do that stuff. But you got to understand that. You look like you read. A lot of people that, they don't want to read. They just want something instantly. Or like love. They don't know what love is. They don't know what love is at all. But yet and still, you go out and do all these things, have kids, get married, if you get married, spreading your seed all over the place, but you don't have no foundation. And the one thing I learned about God is this. Two things. See, God is like the ring or like a circle. And you ever notice there's one specific thing you notice about a circle. A circle has no beginning and it has no end. That's just like God. No beginning and no end. People can understand that. But a line, you can tell what a line is because a line has a beginning and an end. It's very descriptive. You can see that. See, I wrote today on my page, you have to know the difference between if and when. When you put if into a situation, that invites what? Speculation. It might or it might not. You don't know. But when you inject when in there, that's a surety. When. You know, you may not know exactly when it's going to happen, but you know it's going to happen. There's no ifs and buts about that. And that's just like God. He didn't say if I come back. He said when I come back. You already know he's coming back. Now, if he had said if, whoo, Lord have mercy. He said when. We have to know that difference. Not only that, we got to live that difference. That's how you become sure and positive in him, not in anything else, because whether it's a person, place, or thing, it's going to fall. But God said, I'm the same yesterday, today, and forever. I fail not. That's why he's the center of whatever it is that we have to do. Always. Because God always was. Always is. Always is forever. All at the same time.
Thank you, Mr. Bobby, for coming on the channel.
Yes, sir.
For blessing us with your presence, with your wisdom, with everything you shared. What if people can look you up at if you have anything you want to share with them for your social media or whatnot?
Well, yeah, you can basically, especially on Tuesday, just blogtalkradio.com with Mr. Nelly Fuller, the CRCS, the Counter Racist Code Show. You can do it right there. That's where you can get me at.
Mr. Nelly Fuller, I said, hey, man, I want to interview him soon.
Okay. All right, bro.
I'm gonna call this Sunday when they have. I'm gonna make the
call in. Well, you're on the road a lot, though, right?
I'm on the road Monday through Friday. I'm off on weekend. I come home on a Wednesday and stuff. So I can go Wednesday or Saturday or Sunday. Yeah,
our show was on a Tuesday at 9 from 9 to 11 Eastern, and you're on the road probably then. But
I hit you up. I hit y'all up. I come on now.
Okay.
On my show.
Well, thank you, brother, for inviting me on your on Major TV. Thank you so much, bro.
You want to hang out through the comments, or you ready to get off the channel?
Well, if somebody wants to comment, that's fine. If they don't, then of course Mr. Bobby's busy, so I got other things to do.
You want to hang or you want to get off? It's on you, man. I just want to hang
well, if anybody wants to ask me something, they can. If not, then I'll just go ahead on and go to something else, because you know me, I get calls from all over the world, man.
Well, I'm be honest with you. There's no question. There's a bunch of people disagreeing with you and comment on this. This agrees. Cody speaks, says, teach elder. True. From Nina Cole. Nina Cole, how you doing, Nina? And just a couple of things.
Yeah, okay. Well, I appreciate that. But there are many that may disagree, and I like that, because they shouldn't unless they research. Yeah. So it's all good. It really is. It's all good.
All right, thank you, brother. Hold you up no more. Thank
Okay,
you
then,
so
bro.
much for everything.
Thank you for the invite.
I'm gonna call you soon, checking on
Okay.
you.
All right.
Brother. All right,
All right.
peace.
Peace.
I want to thank the brother for coming on, Mr. Bobby. It was interesting to have him on. I really enjoyed him. I'm definitely call the channel and talk to Nelly Fuller so I can get him get him on the channel too. But first I want to ask y'all to like and share the video. If you're new to the channel, description button, the notification bell. I want also send shout out to GMJ. Y'all please donate support. Y'all know the situation and what have you, as well as bro Otto Ozone Wireless. All support donate to him as well. Both for over the information description of the video. Please keep them in prayer and stay supporting them. Let me shout my people out. Cole in the building. Shalom at Major TV. Shalom family. Thank you for coming. Drew. Hello. Black first, second, and third. Hello to you. Cole said heart like a sign. Her heart is on a saint sign. Shalom elder. He had that saint symbol in the back. Oh my girl Michelle, what how you doing? Greetings, black family. How you doing coming through? This cat in the building. How you doing, Miss Kathy Garner? What's up? Salute, Mr. Bob and Major, real talk. My girl China, what's up, Major? I'm getting it. Time is love. Time to live. Peace and love, family. Thank you for coming through. Still we rise. Still we rise. See you, Michelle. My man, Sir Ray. What up, bro? I'm chilling. Thank you for coming through. Much love, brother. Appreciate that. Linda Boy, Grand Rising family. We just getting up. Shalom, how you doing? Sheila Red and Roll. Shalom, Made TV. Peace, love, and bless to you. And guest B1 family here. Global Black Power. I'm about to skip to some of these comments because you got a lot of going on. Antoine said, what up, bro, Major and panel coming through. Elaine said, greetings, Major. Elaine, all in the honey coat, they all in it. They get Elaine, says it's all termination hood. Me release a political prisoner to me, erasure me guarantee of non-repetition, treaty, and compact. Night ride on April 16, 1862, this Columbia Compensated Emancipation Act became law. The act freed slaves in District of Columbia compensated on up to $300 for each free person. Wow. Elaine said, cut the check. Cut the freaking check. The old brand on the hashtag on the down free Grandmaster J. You already know. You never know me forget that. The Looney Tribe in Washington, D.C. Man, this is crazy. We can't have it if we don't believe it. Real talk. Leonard Porter gonna say, white supremacists got over the Galveston, laugh out loud. Boy, y'all, why? Afro descendants in Latin America excited by the self-determination and land rights. He's absolutely right. Fans like a night will continue the downfall of our people. Clip sync, cool hairband, Shalom Chosen Nation. They always illuminate the truth. some black people have been in captivity. For those of us who are ready for self-determination, self-governance, nationhood, self-sufficient, let us advance our building, our nation building. My brother, Roland Cole, peace, my brother. Keep us on the breaking the chains of slavery placed on African descendants by white supremacy is logic. Only defeated enemy say the methods. Real talk, real talk. This is why we must assert our rights of determination. We need our nation state that answer to us and us first transfer wealth, power, resources back to the U.S. African descendants. We are coming together. It's just some of it will be left out. We're stopping the generational assistance program and programming. Yes, true statement, Major. You already know. David Weed, God is who guided them to it. I believe it can be done regardless of white supremacy, Major. Go for it. You already know. Lost tribe of Kimite Unite, Grand Rising Game. Kemitism as an all-time high pyramid builders unite. There's only one community that's Semitic. I have a lot of I got some stuff going on. Been around the building. What's up? My guy made a TV shalom to you in the chat. What's up, fam? What's up? Faith without words is dead. I got tired, y'all, so I don't know how long I'll be doing this one. I don't want to fall asleep like OC did. I ain't gonna do that on no live, but I am tired. I don't know what. But yeah, I can't do it no more. I gotta sit there and psych myself up. Thank y'all for commenting. I enjoy Mr. Bob. I enjoy you all in the chat. Got nothing but love for y'all. I gotta drive the truck tomorrow, and I don't feel like doing it. I squeezed it live out because I normally don't work. I normally be home today, but because of the hurricane, it changed my route, so it drove me completely off. I want to thank everybody in the chat. I want to thank everybody for participation. I enjoyed what I was seeing. I was reading a lot of y'all comments when I was interviewing the brother. We were just vibing, you know what I'm saying? The energy got high, but it's all good. I want to thank everybody. Please like, share, and subscribe, and notification button. I appreciate y'all and I love y'all. I gotta go for real. Y'all stay focused, stay cold, and just be black. Peace.
To the people, the power is the people. They power in your ego. We power in this evil. It's power in this music. Got power and I use it like I'm a superhero. We really need a leader. Power to the people. The power is the people. They power in your ego. We power in this evil. It's power in this music. Got power and I use it like I'm a superhero. We really need a leader. Wish we could see that we hurting ourselves. Hate to see each other excel. Looking like crabs in the barrel. Wanna gossip, wanna judge. What if we all just unified and put all our differences aside to preserve our way of life and be black and keep our pride and be kings under God and speak words that are wise and don't glorify things that took our fucking people lives. We've been oppressed so long, we feeding on our own. Disconnected from our people, stuck in zombie mode. Children of the lost tribes. Let's go back to Israel. They say I'm trivial, but I swear it's biblical. We need to come together, not only at funeral. I'm so tired of fucking funeral. Power to the people. The power is the people.